They roam the American continent like herds of mastodon, an unstoppable force rolling on a mountain of torque and bellowing a mighty roar. Their riders are the modern-day cowboys traversing the Wild West, the Great Plains, the mountains, the deserts, and Starbucks across the land. Can any other two-wheeled motorized conveyance even be called a motorcycle? No. Next to these monsters of the road, everything else is just a scooter. These are baggers, the only type of motorcycle that matters. And today we'll separate the wheat from the chaff. Which ones will make you cool and which ones will make you a pariah on the weekend poker run. Only one way to find out. Stay tuned for this crucial information. One thing that will most certainly make you cool is becoming a subscriber and joining the Different Spokes TV family. Oh, and also clicking the bell and like button underneath the video. Now let's talk real bikes. Before we make any grand pronouncements about which baggers are worth their salt and which ones are just pretenders, let's establish what a bagger actually is, because many people out there are misinformed on this topic. A bagger is an American-style touring motorcycle with a cruiser seating position, a fairing, not a windshield, a stereo system located in the fairing, and saddlebags, preferably made of color-matched plastic. A Road King is not a bagger, it's a cruiser with bags and a windshield. A motorcycle is not a bagger unless the rider is barely able to see over the gigantic dash. A Sport Glide or Street Bob or any other cruiser with a temporary fairing slapped on it for some light touring is not a bagger unless the fairing weighs as much as the rest of the motorcycle and contains a stereo system that will deafen everyone within a 100-yard radius and completely drown out your shotgun exhaust. How do you know you're on a real bagger? If your motorcycle weighs as much as 3 Ducati Panigale V4s and costs almost as much too, and can be ridden through a Category 5 hurricane without a single drop of rain hitting the rider, you're on the right track. If the stereo on your motorcycle only plays one type of music, rock, real rock, you may be on a bagger. AC/DC, Metallica, Guns N' Roses, and Motorhead are fine. Def Leppard and Whitesnake are not. So there you are, cruising on your $50,000 steed, wearing an outfit that costs as much as your kid's tuition but makes you look like a Sons of Anarchy refugee, stereo at full volume cranking out Eat the Rich, heading for the local Starbucks thinking about which Porsche would look best in your driveway. The GT3 looks badass, but the Turbo just has that edge and sophistication. And as you crane your neck to see above the barn door of a fairing which blocks all indications that you are in fact outside, you spot a kid on an MT-07 passing the other way. His left hand disengages from the grip, opens in a friendly wave, an acknowledgement that both of you are involved in a death-defying activity and can bond over that fact with a gesture of mutual understanding and camaraderie. Did you wave back? No? You extended your pinky and tilted your head no more than 2 millimeters while maintaining a stoic Clint Eastwood expression? Congratulations, you've passed the test. You are fit to ride your bagger. But which bagger? Because there are many manufacturers vying for your hard-earned Ben Franklins, and you should be careful which ones you trust. So let's first examine some offerings from the land of the rising sun. First up, the Kawasaki Vulcan 1700 Vaquero. If your supply of Ben Franklins is on the low side and you don't want to finance a vehicle you're going to use once a week for your Starbucks run, then the Vaquero is your ticket. It's got the bags, the fairing, the stereo, the big cushy seat, and only sets you back $17,000 US. This bike holds a line like a freight train, is very stable at speed, has some goodies like phone connectivity and lean-sensitive ABS, and looks good. Despite having a frame-mounted fairing, it's not terribly nimble, and its liquid-cooled engine is a bit underpowered, producing 107 pound-feet of torque. Hey, it's only a 1700, but it can cruise easy all day, and let's face it, that's what it will do 99% of the time. Another option from the land of Hello Kitty is the Yamaha Star Eluder, and you must admit the Yam designers got the styling right. This thing's frame-mounted fairing looks like a '69 Ford Torino, in a good way. And the big 1854cc V-twin is air-cooled, the only configuration that God and Sonny Jesus approve of, and pokes out a proper 126 torques. This one also comes loaded with lots of standard gadgets and plenty of optional ones. Traction control, cruise, ABS, riding modes, color LCD, Bluetooth, voice control, heated grips, and seat. You get more than with the Vaquero, but it will cost you more Benjamins. $22,500 is the price of entry, and it goes up from there if you want more doodads. The last entry from Japan needs no introduction and is as legit a bagger as any Harley. The Honda Goldwing was born in 1975 and has a cult following that rivals Harley. And if you want to be a part of a huge community while enjoying Japanese reliability, this is your ride. Why would you want a V-twin when you can have the engine configuration of the Porsche 911? A flat 6 liquid-cooled motor that has a low center of gravity and rides smoother than Bill Clinton greets interns. 126 is the magic number with that amount of horses and torques, and you'll need a gear indicator because the ride is so serene you could leave your bike in third gear and never need to shift. Not that you need to anyways, because this baby comes in automatic too. In fact, what doesn't it come with? Cruise, keyless, electric windshield, shaft drive, reverse gear, CarPlay, nav, and perfect everything. Perfectly flat torque and power, perfect braking, perfect wind protection, perfectly neutral handling. The only way to be more comfortable on a cross-country tour is to be in a car. And it better be a comfy car. And there's the problem. This bike is rather car-like and has the price of a car, starting at just under $24,000 US and going north of $30,000 if you want to dress it up with Honda accessories or the millions of aftermarket options. But for that, you get a bike that will go forever. And if anything does go wrong, which it rarely will, there are dealers everywhere. It will retain its value and it's distinct. It ain't no Harley clone, and that's a big plus. You'll meet the nicest people on this thing. One more detail. Everywhere you ride the Goldwing, you have to crank Roll Me Away by Bob Seger on the stereo. Another bagger that doesn't try to be anything but itself, but this time hails from Europe, is the BMW K1600B. Like the Goldwing, the Beamer has 6 cylinders, but unlike the Hondas, these are arranged in a straight line and tipped forward in order to ensure the lowest possible mass centralization for this design. Think your Stage 4 Road Glide is fast? Hold BMW's beer. You don't usually mention horses when it comes to baggers, unless there are 160 of them, stock. Please stop boasting about how fast your bagger is. It ain't faster than this bike in a straight line or in the corners. This is the one you get if you want to race Lambos. It'll cost you $23,200 to start, it is a BMW after all, but it'll come with a lot of standard stuff like heated grips, seat, traction, TFT, ride modes, slipper clutch, adjustable windscreen, keyless, shaft drive, and BMW's magic dual lever front and paralever rear suspension. If you want it to cost as much as a Lambo, keep on speccing with the various packages. This one projects that rub sophistication, and its stereo is only capable of playing 2 songs, Amadeus and 99 Luftballons. Another European entry, and the most unique of these baggers, is the Moto Guzzi MGX21. The engine is puny at 1380cc and gets around with revs instead of loping torque, and is put in the frame the wrong way. The smallish fork-mounted fairing looks like something out of a comic book, the front wheel is 21 inches and has a carbon disc in place of spokes, the dash is minimalist and cool, and like all Moto Guzzis, it has shaft drive. This bike is more sprightly and athletic than the other baggers while providing the comforts of its bigger competitors, and most importantly being Italian. So hand over 22 G-notes and you'll get a lot of attention at bike night with this baby. Best looking bike here. And so we come to the American bikes in the baggerverse, and to some the only real baggers. 2 are built by Indian, 2 by Harley. 2 have fork-mounted fairings and 2 bolt them to the frame. All have V-twins, how could they not? But gasp, one of them is liquid-cooled. The humanity. All also have performance kits which, when maxed out, make them almost as fast as the BMW, and louder than a jackhammer. Let's start with the Chieftain and the Street Glide. These 2 have fairings on the forks, for those who want that arm workout and the feeling of trying to control a swinging pendulum at parking lot speeds. Their engines are air-cooled, pretty, come in 2 sizes and lay on the torque while running out of steam early, at least in stock form. Both also come with every possible custom touch you can imagine, with more options available for the hog. Believe it or not, the least expensive Harley costs only $19,000 while the least pricey Chieftain starts at $22,000. But who are you kidding? You have no intention of showing up to the group ride on a stock Electroglide standard which doesn't even have a stereo. You're mortgaging your house for that $40,000 status symbol, and then you're going to hang every performance and comfort accessory you can find until 80% of your net worth is tied up in a 900-pound motorcycle that has to make an 18-point turn to change directions on a 2-lane. Arguably, the king of the baggers is the Road Glide, which is basically a Road King with the front end of an amphibious assault vehicle bolted on. This bike is loved by its owners with the white-hot intensity of a teenage girl at a Justin Bieber concert. So it's a good idea not to point out to them that it looks like it got its head stuck in a garbage can. The starting price of $21,700 is about half the cost of the finished product, as you're going to deck it out with enough bling to put most rappers to shame. Or just go for the CVO for a mere $41,400 and then deck it out with bling. There is nothing this bike can't be, except cheap. Truthfully, it does ride like a dream and can cross continents effortlessly. The final bike we'll look at beats the Road Glide in every regard. Power, handling, acceleration, braking, towing, even the goofy fairing. And Road Glide riders don't care. Indian did everything it could to make the Challenger a better bike. They put a liquid-cooled engine in it, better suspension, better brakes, and a load of electronics. What they couldn't do is make the liquid-cooled motor sound like a Harley. And that's why they're going to sell quite a few bikes, but they'll never surpass the Road Glide. Other things that the Road Glide has going for it is an endless list of accessories and a dealer on every corner, in the United States at least. And so it will remain the king, closely followed by the Street Glide, then the Indians, and then the rest. The Goldwing stands out among the rest for having carved out its own niche, and the BMW for having carved these other bikes anew, in terms of performance anyways. The Guzzi is the prettiest, and the Kawasaki and Yam will outlast the others with the exception of the Honda. Which one would you or have you gone for, and why? Please share in the comments. Unfortunately, Brooke and I will continue to ride our scooters, but maybe someday, if we become Instagram famous, we'll be able to afford a real motorcycle. So give us a follow on Instagram if you're so inclined. Lots of exciting news coming to the channel this spring, and we'll share it there first. Hope to have you along for the ride. Stay safe out there. If you're interested in any of the gear that Brooke and I wear or use, or the camera equipment we use to film this channel, the links are below. Everything listed there was bought with our own money, and we are not sponsored by any company. However, the links below are affiliate links, and the channel is paid a small amount for referring you to shop at no additional cost to you. We do not recommend any products that we are not satisfied with ourselves, but we do strongly urge you to do your research and select the correct size for items like helmets and clothing. As always, thanks for watching. Your support is greatly appreciated. Please hit that subscribe button, give the video a thumbs up, and leave a comment below. And whatever you ride, enjoy it. Wave at other bikers no matter what they're riding. We're all part of a brotherhood and sisterhood. Keep the rubber side down, shiny side up, and may the spokes be with you.